of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to thank Deputy Special Coordinator Hadi for his briefing. Madam President, 1 week ago, the Security Council received a briefing calling for the urgent need for an immediate ceasefire and the release of hostages in Gaza. Today, we have received another sobering briefing, which gives us a strong sense of deja vu. Since October of last year, the Security Council has held numerous meetings with countless briefings. For more than 13 months, we have experienced in this chamber endless deja vu. However, in the repetition of meetings, we are also able to identify a clear tendency, the voice of the international community, to end the bloodshed. Last week, the 10 elected members of the Security Council co-penned a draft resolution demanding an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, in parallel with an immediate and unconditional release of hostages. These 10 members of the Council, all regionally, politically, and culturally different from each other, shared the same principled voice, demonstrating the common demand of the international community. Thus, we believe that even though the draft resolution was not adopted, the message that we collectively strive to deliver has in fact been communicated to the parties to the conflict. Madam President, in besieged northern Gaza, tens of thousands of civilians have been facing diminishing conditions for survival, which OCHA has described as a direct consequence of Israel's blocking of aid. Israel's ban of commercial imports, as well as increased looting due to total collapse of law and order, are further pushing the entire Gaza Strip into chaos and the risk of famine. All across Gaza, airstrikes go on. Not only Gaza, but the wider region, including the West Bank, Lebanon, and Syria, remains on the precipice as well. Hezbollah is increasing its rocket attacks against Israeli population centers. And in Gaza, Israeli attacks against the hospitals and shelters are still ongoing. Particularly, the rest of the world was appalled over the weekend by graphic images broadcasted through media of the bombardment of entire residential buildings in Beirut, some of which were carried out without any evacuation orders after midnight. It is beyond our imagination how such incidents can be repeated in the 21st century, when international law, including international humanitarian law, should guide us. We hope that the deal for a ceasefire across the blue line can be finalized at the earliest time possible. We would also like to see hopeful news toward a crucial ceasefire in Gaza. On the other hand, we will not forget the Israeli hostages still brutally held in Gaza, and we are heartbroken to hear over the weekend that one female hostage was announced dead in captivity. If Hamas truly wants the war to end, the remaining hostages must be released with no conditions. I thank you, Madam